The Mac Show is a QuickTime broadcast over the internet. It is a show patterned after traditional radio, so we have call-in, we have a listener email, we have guests, we have contests, interviews, that kind of thing. We also, because it's a Macintosh show, it's all about and for Macintosh users.
And now, your numerically correct hosts, Shawn King and Hillary Percy.
Welcome to the Mac Show, everyone, for Wednesday, April the 11th, year 2001. How you doing, Hillary?
I'm doing great. We have about $1 million worth of technology on this table. I'm actually operating 2 PowerBooks right now to get the show on the road here.
My name is Hillary Percy. I am the co-host of the Mac Show. And part of my responsibilities here are not only to co-host the show with Shawn, but also to maintain the website and to try to bring a little levity to the team.
The Mac Show is unique to regular radio in that we have chat lines where there's an audience that is participating with the show while the show is on the air. Not only that, but we can all see who's commenting on what has been said by the hosts or the guests that we happen to have on. And it's a very interactive show.
The Mac Show history is in 2 phases. Shawn King was applying the concept for almost 5 years before he brought it to us. He brought it to us because he saw the internet maturing and he wanted to see the program escalate both in its maturity and its professionalism. He initially brought that to me, and we began a new era at the beginning of 2000. My job was to put together a team to make the program more suitable for a wider audience.
Well, of course, Shawn began the Mac Show about 6 years ago. I think he was producing out of his kitchen sink at that time, moved into the bathroom, and 6 years later, he's here with us. And Shawn and Hillary bring something to the program that is an integral element of good talk radio, and that's great personalities. That's what they bring to the show. And it's something that comes through each and every program. They're getting to know each other better, and that comes across on the air.
So we got another great show for you guys, as always. We've got some surprises coming up later in the show, so make sure you stay tuned for those. But right now, we got the news.
And the news later on, we'll be talking about Macworld registration. We'll be talking about the NVIDIA GeForce card and Apple and Adobe bundles, as well as iTunes.
In my opinion, the Mac Show's standards of broadcast is right up there with anything else that you'd hear on the radio. Now, in your car or anything on television, it's right up there as far as the quality of the broadcast.
The show could also be a challenge just from the commitment it takes. I've been doing this every Wednesday evening for 2 hours for the last 7 years. I think we may have missed maybe 4 or 5 shows in that period of time. So that's no vacations, that's nothing, no dates on Wednesday nights. I got nothing to do on Wednesdays except for that. But in a certain way, I guess I don't have much of a life because I look forward to those Wednesdays. I mean, Tuesday night, I almost can't sleep because I'm looking forward to 6 o'clock on Wednesday because I know I'm going to be able to, all this stuff in my head that I've gathered over the last week, I'm going to get to tell other people about it. And I get really disappointed at the end of a show when I've still got a list of things that I haven't mentioned yet, whether that be people, whether that be software, whether that be events, that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh man, I wish we had another hour or another half hour to keep going because it's so much fun.
One of the great things about the team that we have is that everybody on the team is creative. They come up with new ideas. So there's always something new energy-wise happening in the show. Shawn is a great fount of creativity, always coming up with new ways to extend the show or new ways to make the show better. But the behind-the-scenes team have always come up with ideas for ways that they would like to experience the show, and I think that they've all been willing to put themselves in the listener's shoes and say, well, as I'm a listener to this show, how can I make it better for me?
Don't forget, if you guys are going to Worldwide Developer Conference, please let us know. We want to talk to you. We want to find out about what you plan on doing there, why it's important to you, and all things Apple related at WWDC this coming May 21st to 24th. I'm actually trying to get our executive producer to let me go.
To let you go.
Let me go to WWDC. Yeah, I heard it's a real geek fest.
Yeah, and you'd fit right in, would you, Shawn?
That's right.
We're all trying to do something that's really unique, and that it works. It's we're having fun. That's the main thing. That's really what we're trying to do, is have some fun and put on a show. It's entertainment.
Well, I look at the Mac Show team like a band, like a rock band. Everybody's got their instrument to play, and everyone plays it. And if someone goes out of key, the other six say, "Tune your instrument up. Let's get on with it." You know.
I would say one of the greatest reasons that the show is working is because we do work. We're a very cohesive team. We do work as a very good group.
The first time I really recognized the impact of the Mac Show, the impact of my name, was when I think it was 3 Macworlds ago, when I was talking to Phil Schiller. And I walked up to him, held out a business card, and said, "Hello, Mr. Schiller, my name is Shawn King. I'm the host and producer of the Mac Show." He took a business card and went, "Oh yeah, I know you." And I'm like, Phil Schiller is the vice president of marketing for Apple. He said, "I listen to your show." And the first thing I said, "No, you don't." I'm sure I was kicking the ground, you know, just like a little kid. "You don't really listen to the show." He said, "Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, you had Andy Gore on last week." I'm like, man, he does listen to the show. And it really scared me. I think, what did I say that week? Did I call him names? Did I do anything funny? So that was the first time I really went, wow, you know, there are people, important people, not just my friends, the audience, listening to the show. There are some important people listening to the show. And it's kind of intimidating at times. And you have to try to put that out of your mind. You don't want to think that someone at Apple or someone at Adobe or Macumedia important is listening to the show. I want to keep it in my mind that the folks who are listening are a bunch of friends of mine. They're just people I haven't met yet, that's all.
Friends of mine saying, "No, you're into the geek world now." I said, "No, I'm not." And they said, "Yeah, you are." And I said, "Well, what's a geek?" They said, "You're a geek." And I'm going, well, I saw these people and they look pretty normal every day to me, you know. That was one of the, meeting the audience was huge. It was big time for me. And when I got to San Francisco, I was feeling even more like a geek. I was like, hey, I'm one of these guys now. It was a tremendous feeling where I'm feeling more that I'm with my people.
I never realized until working on this show how tight the Mac community is. I personally got into Macintosh because I was editing audio, or I wanted to edit audio digitally. And the software programs for that to be done were native to the Mac, so that's how I got into the Macintosh. But I've learned that I'm not the only one out there. There's lots of people with Macintosh computers, and they're very interesting people, and they love their machines.
Well, it's funny because I get emails from people that say things like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you read my email, let alone responded. I am so honored." When really, I actually feel that it's an honor that people listen to the show and that send us emails and that regard us so highly. Here we are, the listeners and the people on the show, and we're each seeing the other person kind of higher up on the pedestal.
Do we get a response from the audience on an ongoing basis? I know I get feedback that's stuff to do with what people enjoyed, what they listened to. Guests have sent me emails thanking us for being on the show and wanting to come back. We get people asking how we do it. Can we share our knowledge with them? They want to do it, or they want to do a radio show. So we get lots of people asking for, how do you do that? And we can't tell them, it's our secret.
People talk about, and they have for years, they've talked about the fact that we're in what they call an information age. And I quite simply disagree. Because information is a raw resource, much the way that iron was the raw resource of the industrial age. If anything, we really should be calling it a communication age. The raw resource of information is too overwhelming in the amounts that are currently available to most people for them to consider wading through. So it's very important that we have great communicators, people who are able to pick from that vast pool of information the elements that need to go together to make a meaningful communication, a unit of understanding. That excites me. And that, at some level, is what is behind everything that I do, including the Mac Show.
The future of the show is just bigger and better. I think we're going to have bigger and better guests. We're getting some really good contacts with Apple. We are getting some good contacts with a lot of the major manufacturers. We're still going to talk to the quote-unquote little guys, Power on Software, Casting Green, those kind of folks, Aladdin. But we're also going to get bigger and better guests. The show is going to expand both in the future, and this is just predicting the future. I can see the show expanding its time frame, whether that be going to an hour a day or doing more segments per day as opposed to just doing it on Wednesday. We're going to get more advertisers involved because that's what drives the show. But we're also going to get more listeners involved because that also drives the show. The two are concurrent. You get advertisers when you get more listeners. You get more listeners, more advertisers. So everyone on the show is going to work harder over the next 18 months to make it even better than what it is now. But the great thing about the show is that the core is going to stay the same. It's still going to be me at the core of this with my particular sensibility, my particular ethic and work ethic for the show that hopefully will keep everything that you enjoy about the show the same, just more of it. That's all.
I'd like to say a big thanks to Adam Tinkoff as well for being here and filming the Macumentary.
Thanks to our guys in the control room, Pat and Vasha and John. And I don't know if Mark was bothering them or not, but if he wasn't, then thanks to him. Thanks to our IRC babe Sly, as always. Thanks to the GCS Photobug and GCS Trish in our World Without Borders chat room, and to you guys listening in every single week in record numbers. Please come back. Please let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. Send us email at Shawn@MacShowLive.com or Hillary with 1L at MacShowLive.com.
Jurgen set up my email so that if somebody does send it with 2 L's, I'll get it anyway.
Okay. As always, she's been
Hillary with 1 or 2 L's.
And I've been Shawn King, and you've been listening to The Mac Show. Thank you and good night.